Okay, this video is part 2 of the browsing video. We're going to put the search facility in. So this is what we've currently got, and we want to add in search facility. So let's go back to our browse web page. And what we should do is build a little search box to put inside. So let's create a div, call it ID search. And remember, the reason we're doing all these IDs is so we can later on change the style of them using style sheets. Okay, so we've got a div. Now inside it we need to at least put a label. So drag a label on. The text of the label, let's search. Just leave it at that. We're not going to do anything with that, so we can leave it like that. Okay, after the search we want to put text box so they can type something in. Better give a sensible name for that, so I'm going to call it TX search. Sensible name as anything. And then we want a button to do the search, so let's add a button, and I'm going to call that BT search, and on the text I'm going to put go on there, and I want another button. Nah, I don't want another button. I'm just going to leave it like that. I was going to put a clear button on, but you can do that just to like blank the text box off. I'll leave that as an exercise to yourselves. Okay, right, that sets up a separate div for this. Okay, what we need to do, let's put split view on again. That's what it looks like. When we click go, actually what we're going to do isn't anything fancy. We just want to reload the page. Okay, so we'll create a click event, but we're actually going to put no code in it. For this example it doesn't need it. Okay, what we need to do when we load the page up, we need to look at the text box value and create a filter. Okay, so back in our page load event, we're gonna, before we do the display products bit, we're gonna create a filter. So we're gonna say filter equals, and let's call it build filter. Okay, and we're gonna pass it the contents of the text box, TX search. Okay, so instead of when we say display products, we're going to actually pass this filter to it. Okay, I'm trying to keep it reasonably generic so that you could do this in a different way. So, but let's have a look at how we build this filter now. Okay, so what we need to do is generate this. So right click on it, generate method stub. And it's created it just here. Change the parameter name to, I'm going to call it text. Okay, and delete that. Okay, so we're going to build a filter up, which is going to be basically like a where query in an SQL query. So we're going to have is something like something else, but I want someone to be able to search on either title or in the description. Okay, so that's what I'm going to attempt to do here. Now if there is nothing, and we set up a default blank filter, if there's nothing in that search box, so if I say if the text I was given is not equal to empty, then I'm going to build the filter. Okay, what I mustn't do is attempt to half build a filter with an empty box, because it'll all break. Okay, the code I'm about to do will break if there is no text in this string. So I'm checking. So I've said the filter's got nothing in it, which was what we had before. So if there's nothing in this text that we've been passed as a parameter, then the filter will be returned as nothing. So that will give us what we had before. Right, what we're going to do, if someone types in two different keywords, okay, and we're going to assume they're going to be separated by spaces, we're going to search individually for all those. So one thing we're going to do, oops, I'll do a string, we're going to create an array to hold the search terms, and we're going to get these search terms quite easily by saying text dot split. So it's a string function, this, and we're going to split it on a space character. Remember, it's character, so I've put single quotes. Okay, so that just says split the list that's in the text where there's a space and create a separate term. Okay, right, so now I'm going to build up a basic filter, assuming I've only got one thing. Okay, and then I'll have a loop to add any extras. So I'm going to say filter equals. Now I'm leaving a space, okay, so that I don't get any SQL errors because I've got something sat straight up. So the space won't hurt, but it's just to make sure. So I'm going to say title, and remember you've got that's what I called the title in my item. So title like, and like is a keyword. Instead of equals, it means try and match it, not exactly the same. Okay, and then in single quotes I'm going to put what I'm trying to match. Now I'm going to use the wildcard character, which in most systems is an asterisk, but in SQL, and even in Access it's an asterisk, but in SQL it's actually the percent sign, strangely. So I'm going to build up a bit of text, and that is going to be the terms first item, item 0, because that's it. This is in an array, remember. Okay, and then I'm going to add another in a space. Right, so what I'm actually writing, if I just type this out in a comment just so you can see, I'm actually saying title like, I'm putting in single quotes, percent, and let's say I add disk or something like that. It's say percent disk quote. Okay, so it's search for anything that precedes disk and anything following disk. That's what wildcards do. So that's what I'm doing. So I'll leave that there as an example. I'm going to build another filter to search the query in the description field as well. So I'm going to say filter plus equals, so I'm adding on, leave a space, and I'm going to say or description. And I'm going to say the exact same thing. Oops, make sure you spell your fields correctly. Description. Okay, and I'm just going to say again like single quote percent double quote 10 that part of the string terms not. So I'm using the exact same term to search the description field as well. Leave a space at the end. Okay, so that builds me up a query that says title like that or description like, and then all I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a little loop to keep going round and putting any of the terms that we had. Okay, so for int I equals 1, so we've done term 0, so we need to do the other ones. I is less than terms dot length, that tells you how long an array is. Oops, I plus plus. Okay, so we've got a nice little for loop, and all we're going to do is exactly these two bits of code. Okay, but with not item 0, item I. So I just copy and paste those, change that into terms I and terms I. Okay, and that will add the extras on. That's why the spaces are important. The only thing I've got to watch is when I initially set the title one up, it was the first thing, but when I'm adding these extra ones, I need to make sure all's in front of it. Okay, so I've got title like all this, and then or for all the other things. So all the things in it, this, or this, or this, or this, or this. You can create different types of and more complicated searches, so you could like look for minuses and start excluding, but I ain't going to show you how to do that. If you want to do that, work it out yourself. Okay, right, hopefully that should just work, because we'd already put in our display product code apply the row filter. So let's try it. Let's just run my browse code. So there's nothing in that text box to start with, so it should just show everything. Let's try Sega. Sega there's only one of. That gives me Outrun. But I'm going to put a space and put Irene, because I know I've got R-Type on there. So when I click go this time, oops, got an error. Oh, let's have a look what we've got built there. Oh, got a problem. Okay, I think I've made a stupid mistake. Let's have a look at that filter. So it says, for some reason, all title like Irene, or description like Irene. Where's the Sega bit gone? So I must have made some really stupid mistake in the filter creator. So let's just stop this running. Right, let's just double check ourselves. So we've got filter equals this, terms no. Filter plus equals, terms no. Then we've got filter equals or, terms I. Filter plus equals or, oh, hang on a minute, look. Because this is copy and pasting for you, it makes really stupid errors. I've actually obliterated and overwritten what was already in the filter. That should be a plus. So I'm adding on to it. Okay, let's run it again and see if it works. So this, when I put the Sega, I'll put the Sega in on its own again. So I should just get Outrun. So Sega. Now that if I say, right, well, Sega or Irene Games, I should get IT. If I put Capcom, I should get Final Fight. If I clear it all, I'll get them all back. Okay. So if I was to put PCB, I'll get all the ones that have got PCB in them. If I was to put, let's see if I can find anything else. Let's try A. If I put A, R-Type hasn't got A in it anywhere. That's weird. I get those four. There you go, and that's a little search box. So you can create that search box in lots of different ways. You could put it on another page and have a query string. We could do that actually if you want to see that. So I could put the search thing on the default page. And we could try doing that. So if we was to go, oh no, I won't. That's up to you to do. Okay, that'll do me. That's a shorter video for once. The next video will show you how to do the commenting if a user's logged in. So we'll build some extra code into our display products to allow you to add comments. Okay.